Alright, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm over here at Premium Coach Group in Gilbert, Arizona again. And we're working on Girard Awnings today. Girard are boxed awnings, very high-end luxury awnings. And let's take a look. So on this marathon, this 2005 marathon, it actually has 4 awnings. There's 2 on the passenger side, which are going to be the patio awnings. And then 2 on the driver's side, which don't really come out too far. They're just more like slide out toppers. They just go over the top of the slide out, come out about 3 feet maybe, while these come out closer to 8 feet. Now I don't know if you noticed right here, this awning isn't out as far as that one because I just had to replace the motor on this one. And that was not a fun job. I didn't make a video out of it because it was dangerous, but I did do a couple little quick videos on TikTok. So you're welcome to take a look at that. Same AZ Expert channel, but on TikTok. It wasn't fun. It was scary. It was quite an ordeal. Scissor lifts up in the air, awnings dangling in space, using ratchet straps. It was very scary. If you want to know why nobody wants to work on your Girard awnings, this is why. So a Girard awning is just a box awning, usually on the top. But if you have to change out the motor, it's got a tubular motor that goes inside the case right here, and it slides in that way. And that front and rear cap's in the way. That's the motor right there. Now because that front cap's in the way, I can't slide it out. So I have to completely disconnect the whole thing from the roof, support it with straps, still bolted into the back. I actually have a scissor lift on front, holding the outside up, and this strap is keeping the arm from opening up because once I take the motor out, it's spring loaded and it wants to open up the arms. So that's why nobody wants to work on your Girard awning. Sorry. Alright. This isn't scary at all. There it is. The old motor. So now these awnings aren't really that high tech. They might seem high tech, but the arms underneath are the springs. So they're just like elbows, and they're spring loaded to want to go out. So what the motor does, it acts as a stop so that the arms can't spring out. And when it goes to extend, all it's doing is letting the fabric unroll, and the arms are actually pulling the whole awning out. Conversely, when you're running the awning in, all you're doing is spooling up the fabric. Great, I already have the new motor in. The motor goes right here. That's the new one. I'll see if you can see it. There it is. That hexagon looking thing. Wires are hooked up. Here's, take a look at the old one here. There it is, Girard Systems. So this is the old style. Now this is just a tubular motor. It's going to be very similar to most of the motors that power the shades in these motorhomes. And just like the shades in the motorhome, they have to be programmed. These motors have in and out stops on them. So on this one, I don't know if you can see, you have an adjustable potentiometer there and an adjustable one right there. So you actually have to physically set the in and out stops. On this awning, this is where the out stop's set. So all I have to do is go underneath and adjust those adjustments, and I'll kind of show you guys how it works. Once you know about it, it's usually not that difficult to do. So here we are. You can see the rear awning right there, and then this the front awning that we actually have to adjust. Here's those spring-loaded arms I was telling you about. These are, it's hard to see, but there's these weird cables back there. They're under tension, and they're trying to extend these arms. The motor itself is trying to keep the arms from extending. We look up in there. Obviously, it's a G2000 from Girard out of San Clemente, California. There's the there's an arrow right there pointing out, so that'd be adjusting the out stop, and there's an arrow right there for that red one, adjusting the in stop. You can see if you rotate it clockwise on that one, you're going to decrease the how much it goes out, how much it goes in. If you go the other way, it's going to increase how much it goes in. So we're going to start with the out stop, which is going to be right here going out. I know I need to go out with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and crank it about a good 20 times. This is a really high-tech tool that Girard gives you. It's a plastic Allen key. You can just use an Allen wrench too. Now if you have it, this job's a lot easier if you have the remote. You don't have to keep going in and out. I'm on the right number 2 channel. I'd be bringing it up. All right, I'm gonna stop it and I'm gonna go out with it. Now your changes, you need to back off. So if you're doing the out stop, you want to run it in a little bit, a few inches, and then run it out. So it came out more. So that was 20 turns. That didn't really do too much. So let's do 20 more. All right, you can see if you do it right when it's going out, you can keep adjusting it. So each little turn moves it a little bit each time. Alright, does that look pretty good? Alright, we look pretty good there. Just about even. Okay, so that's good news. Now we just have to run it in and adjust it on the end. Just go ahead and hit the in. Go back to channel 2 again. Now the end one's going to be really important too, because you want to make sure you set it so that the motor turns off. If you don't set it, the motor will keep trying to bring the awning in, even if it's already bound up, and it'll start to overheat the motor, and you'll start wearing out the motor. So you want to make sure when you do this, you actually hear the motor turn off. Now there's just going to be the manual crank, so you could actually operate the system manually with a hand crank. Alright, so there it stopped right there. Now I can go ahead and do the in and go in with it more. This is why I said it's a little bit hard to do the in stop with this one, because the case is going to get in the way. But it looks like we're going to be able to do it through the all right, that wasn't too bad. That's all closed up. All right, let's go to channel 2 again and go down with it. Let's go ahead and get that tool out of there. So again, all this motor does is turn the tube and let the fabric out. These spring-loaded arms are what's actually pulling it out. I may not have mentioned it, but these are actually, they need 110 power. They don't run on 12 volt. Woo-wee! Think we look good, guys. Now let me give you a little bit of some inside scoop then. Now Girard makes these. It's a pretty common awning design in the commercial or residential world. On the RV world, Zipty and Girard make these box awnings for most of these bus conversions. However, Carefree of Colorado also makes some of these box awnings, and I have seen them on obviously country coaches. I don't know if I remember seeing them on bus conversions or not, but they are a higher end awning because you don't have any arms you have to worry about hitting. There are some newer non-box awning types that you might see in Class Bs and Class As that are not a true box awning. They do have arms like this. Those are usually 12 volt. Those have to be programmed too, and they're a little bit more prone to failure. The nice thing about these really high-end ones is that they're generally pretty durable. What I can tell you is that in a good situation, it's actually pretty easy to do the fabric on these awnings, because instead of taking the whole thing apart, all you do is just keep adjusting the awning motor until this thing completely unspools the fabric. The arms will max out. They won't go any further, and the fabric will just droop. You take the screw off that lead rail cap. To take that cap off, take the set screws out, and you can just slide the entire fabric out and slide the new one in, and then reset the awning. On awning installation where they didn't do this to you and block the front or the back, The motors really aren't that difficult either, because again, you just overextend the awning so that the arms aren't trying to extend it out. Take this end cap off right here, disconnect the motor, slide it out, put the new one in, connect it all up, then readjust the motor. Very, very simple. But when they do this, it's miserable. But you know who also did a miserable thing? Beaver and Safari. Way back in the late 90s and early 2000s, they used to put these Girard awnings in, but they'd recess it in to the sidewall just about 2 inches. It didn't really do anything, but they made everything so difficult. You couldn't get the fabrics in, you couldn't get the motors in without, yeah, it was a bad situation. And then the awning mounts were behind the refrigerator, so you had to pull the refrigerator. Yeah, it's a bad idea. So at any rate, guys, there it is, adjusting a Girard awning motor. I didn't show you how to do it because it's not something I'd recommend you do on your own, especially on a bus. If you have a scissor lift, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. 2, 3, 4, all channels up. There they go. Ooh. Looks like the new motor's a little bit slower than the old motor. Nice. And yes, guys, I know I still have to reseal those awning mounts up there, but that's not too complicated. Ugh. And of course we went with Proflex clear because even though it looks yellow, that's clear. Thanks, guys. So now in order to get that motor slid out, it goes out the front. And I don't know if you guys can see this front cap. That's a solid surface right there. I can't slide it out that way. So I had to completely disconnect the awning from the roof. These bolts right here, these stainless steel bolts, they don't like to come off the second time. And also, these right here just spin. And it doesn't really help me because then I have to pull it out that way and then lift up. So I literally had to unbolt it from the roof. That's what all the sealant's for. So I unbolted the front, unbolted the middle, but left the back bolted on so that it couldn't actually fall off. I got my scissor lift right over there and I put it out underneath the front of that arm and lifted it up so that the awning wasn't tilting out. And then I had to hook a ratchet strap from this point to this roof truss up here, and then from this point up to this roof truss, and then ratchet it up. So it was just kind of dangling in space, very, very scary. And I was able to get up high enough so I could slide the whole thing out and put the new one in.